Mike?
Push it.
Push the button.
I just pushed it.
All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 2, season 4. So, guys, I have a lot of things on my plate, and my brain's not working the greatest. So I asked Enrique politely once to not screw around with the numbers, because if he does, I don't know where I'm going to go.
It was more of a threat than an ask.
I don't recall that. So, guys, thank you for a lot of the suggestions on the BJJ Fanatics DVD. So, as I mentioned, I already have 4. I have armbar, guillotine, triangles, meaning straight, reverse, inverted, and ugly, and split guard, which was by popular demand. So we got a lot of suggestions, and I really appreciate it. I have not made a decision yet. But one of the things that people asked about is sort of the fluidity or transition. What makes my game so dangerous? Do I dare to say dangerous? Yes, I dare to say dangerous. So I believe it's kind of described in my book called Fluid BJJ. And it's a play on words. It's basically, the basic idea is my game has always been sort of, I attack with hopefully good timing, good technique, and as such, that puts my opponent at risk where they need to either, if it's on, it's on. Or if they defend, they usually have to defend it so much that they leave something else open, completely open. And I usually, if I fail with the initial attack, I transition at the correct time, meaning I transition when I feel, okay, this is either taken away from me or it's about to be taken away from me into the follow-up submission or sweep that he's handing me on a platter. Now, that timing, that trigger when you see something being taken away from you or just about to be taken away from you versus it's completely taken away from you is a massive difference. Because usually when it's completely taken away from you, at that point now you're going from an offensive mode into a defensive mode. Because usually you will not just lose a submission, but you also lose your momentum, you lose the attack, and now the guy's in top of side control and threatening you. So it's a very interesting concept, and I'm aware of sort of that's a lot of people are interested in. The problem is I need to be able to organize it in such a way that it makes it a well-structured instructional. And I don't have an answer to that yet. So far, I've been basically able to do it more in the cases of examples. So let me go over a couple of examples, and you guys can start asking questions, all right? So actually, this is a perfect example. So say I'm hitting a triangle, and as I'm doing this, the opponent, this is actually very, very common high-level response. So a lot of people, so Enrique is defending a couple of different ways. He's turning to his left, and he's also controlling my hip. So for me to be able to go to a triangle, I need to be able to pivot away and get my hip in a position to triangle. So defend well. Don't let me get it. So as I'm doing this, a lot of people struggle to slap on a regular triangle. Now, this may actually work. I keep making adjustments and maybe work. Or the other possibility is now it just starts to unravel. So go ahead, escape, and let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. I will choke you if you don't. Go ahead, progress. So a lot of times, if you commit to a triangle and you fail, people wind up on the bottom side control. That's just statistically, that's usually the case. If the triangle doesn't work, usually they wind up on the bottom. There's some transition where the guy tries to posturize where you can slap on an armbar, but probably most people's experiences, you fail with a triangle, you're on the bottom. So there's another approach to this, and that's basically transitioning to something that he's giving us. So as I'm doing this, he's not giving me a triangle. I have to fight for it, but he's literally handing me a reverse triangle, which now allows me to trap him. Admittedly, the choke is not going to be the same unless I put my hand on his carotid, but also I can sort of attack the arm with a variety of submissions. So again, for me, I would usually, when I start to feel that resistance, And if I believe that my chance of achieving that particular submission is less than 50%, I don't know what the exact percentage is. I make the judgment call basically in the heat of the battle. When I start to feel that I am not getting that submission, I transition to what he's handing me on a platter. He's basically leaving open for me to take. And that's usually a very easy transition, very smooth, because he's not fighting that transition, he's fighting that submission. And while he's fighting that submission, that's extremely valuable time for you to make something happen on the other side, or the other, you know, or different submission. A lot of times just different submission goes into, it basically catches him by surprise. So let's look at it one more time, and I want to give you one more example so you understand the concept, okay? So again, I slap on the triangle, Enrique starts to defend. I literally just switch into reverse triangle, and this is going to be on. And as you know from my triangle instructional or hearing me explain this multiple times, one of the huge benefits of triangles, all triangles, be it inverted, be it ugly, be it regular, be it reverse, is that you have a simultaneous submission. So my interest in triangling people is initially get them in the triangle, that's what traps them, and now I can transition into other forms of submissions depending what he's handing me. So that's one example. Another example that I wanted to do is, a lot of times when you got somebody on this, you know, and I'm basically trying to Kimura them. And, you know, especially if you got a big guy holding onto his gi, especially with the gi, it's highly relevant. It's not gonna, you know, no matter how much you rip. So even though I'm not moving, you might be expending more energy. I literally watched two guys do this. Just, it's almost like you could be making bread or something. So when I feel that resistance, I will make an attempt to take it, and I'll just switch into an armbar. Because he changed the direction, it goes much quicker now. There is no resistance in that angle. With Kimura, the people are protecting their shoulder. With the armbar, they're protecting the elbow. So usually when they get caught in a Kimura, all their muscular and structural protection goes to the shoulder protection. It's much less. Even if they hold on to the gi, they're protecting this. They're not protecting that different angle. So let's look at it one more time. So I got the Kimura, and I'm trying to pull. When he does not give it to me, I just pop in, and now it's fast. Okay? So guys, that basically, just two examples, and there's many. And when you start to apply that concept to your game becomes less harsh, meaning I'm not forcing things. Don't get me wrong, if I have a triangle and he's defending, I'm going to stay on it. So if I have that submission, I will stay on it. But if he effectively takes it away from me, I switch to a follow-up submission or sweep before he completely takes it away from me. But let me just go back to the idea of, if I have a triangle, so if Enrique was caught asleep, let me slap on a triangle. Here, guys, I will not switch. Go ahead, defend. I will make it happen because he is not effectively defending the triangle. Okay? If I have it, I'll stick to it. If I don't have it, or there starts to be doubt, then I'm starting to prepare for plan B. Mike, do we have any questions on this so far?
So we got a few things first. First, we got Diego de la Garza. He's saying good morning. I just want to say thanks for these shows. This has really helped me improve the details of my game.
Nice. Guys, I really appreciate, when you say these things. I do read all the comments. I don't have time to answer all of them, but I try to answer them through here. But guys, I appreciate it. Please like and share the content. Subscribe. Yes, don't forget that.
And Gilbert Lopez is asking, can you do the reverse triangle again?
Sure. So the most effective way for people to defend an early stage triangle Once it's late stage, they usually posture up. They try to posture up. Yeah. Yes. But early stage is basically they turn the corner. So they basically want you to kind of fight for it. Then when you start to make a mistake, they rip out and try to pass your guard. So as he's cutting, this is an angle that's not going to give me a regular triangle. Even if you have a guy that's similar size to yours, it's hard to force this, especially when he controls your hip. So instead of forcing it, I just reverse my legs. That's it. That's it. So that's why, guys, as you know, I really don't care what you call things. You can call them whatever you want. But I call it reverse triangle because all I'm doing is reversing legs. You know, a lot of times people call what I call inverted triangles reverse, but in that case, you're not just reversing your legs, but you're also inverting your hips, inverting your body. In this case, I call it reverse because very simple. You just reverse your legs. Very important to control the head. So that's basically what I call a reverse triangle, and then there's a whole slew of inverted triangles as well. Then we have the whole ugly family of triangles.
And we have two check-ins I want to shout out to. It's first is JSM. He's saying hello from France, first time live, big fan.
Thank you. Bonjour.
And we have Yoga. He's saying, hey, Silver Fox, huge fan, loved your guillotine DVD. And he followed up with,
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
ever since watching your guillotine DVD, the guillotine has become my main submission of means of passing. And he's a brown belt from Israel.
Nice. I appreciate the kind words, guys.
And Diego De La Garza is asking, does that switch to reverse triangle work against people who stack too?
Well, if they stack you, if you lock it up, it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually harder to escape a reverse triangle than a straight triangle. You may not have enough time in a straight triangle to counter, but so guys, notice how I'm controlling his head. That's paramount. You got to stack me. So guys, if you have the BJJ Fanatic instructional and the triangles, you know that the way I create the angle, the stack doesn't work. Because I look for, one of the big mistakes that I believe a lot of people make with triangles, they try to stay lined up. That makes you vulnerable to being either postured out of or being stacked. Because you basically, the guy's stacking you straight on. I advocate both reverse as well as straight triangles to be at an angle, almost, somewhere between 45 and 90 degrees. That makes you much less vulnerable to being stacked. I actually, through my couple of camps, I have had guys, quite good size, 220 pounds, 100 kilos, try to stack me, and because of the angle, what usually winds up happening is we roll through. Okay, so I'm not getting stacked on my neck. I'm sort of, as they're stacking, they're driving at an off angle. You want to try to do that? So, as I'm doing this, this is usually the result. So, when you, again, guys, when you triangle people, it does drive me crazy. In every major technique, there's some variations in grips and angles, and it's small things. If you look at guillotine, you look at 10 guys that have really good guillotine, you're probably going to get 10 different approaches. With triangle, it's such a prototypical, stereotypical BJJ technique that the variations are not so much. Yet, I still will see high-level black belts, and they're very successful in competition. The fact that you're successful in competition doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a better way to do it. It means, listen, if you're jacked and strong and you squeeze the crap out of the guy's neck, that at some point he may tap, even if there's a better way to do it. But guess what? If you're 150 pounds going against a 230-pound guy, you better make sure your technique is perfect, not just good enough. So what drives me crazy is a lot of people advocate this. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I think people make, is just it will work. But let's do it now live where you react to my movement. And now you're getting stacked because you two lined up with him. And now he's not only just going to escape, but he's also going to pass your guard. So if this is happening to you guys, buy the freaking BJJ Fanatics Triangle DVD, because you need to create angles where the guy's defenses are effectively taken away from him.
There are actually a lot of questions about being stacked in the triangle.
Yeah. So guys, buy the freaking DVD because that explains a lot. But this is one of the biggest mistakes I see in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where even high-level black belts are teaching it like this. Yeah, that works. But I'm going to do it again. As soon as I lock up, you defend. Need I say more? How many times has this happened to you? Enrique, how often does this happen to me? Did you see the difference between those two?
They did.
I hope so.
We can move on now.
So guys, you understand, it's a massive difference. Yeah, it looks good on paper. The first one, the way most people teach it, it looks great on paper. The problem is, the minute you try to bring that arm over, the guy just postures out, stacks you, and now you're done. Not only you have no triangle, but you actually get your guard passed. And this is probably more than 50% of people teach it like that. I say that there's a better way rather than a mistake. So let's call it a better way.
And John Plant is asking, do you explain the TP triangle in the DVD?
Yes, I do. Yeah, we call it, it's called TP, it's called the Husky Man Triangle, but it's covered there as well.
And next question that we have is, just pull it up.
Ah, it's nice to have so many questions.
There is a lot. Yogev is asking, any chance you could explain switching from butterfly guard to urigatame to the shoulder crunch sweep?
Well, usually, yes, I can give you I can give you a short answer, but this becomes a kind of a longer problem. But usually, when I have that shoulder crunch grip, when I have this grip, my first instinct and first order of business is to get at least 1 foot on the hip. It doesn't matter necessarily which one. I usually try to get the opposite. So if I'm attacking on my left, I want my right foot, because if I do this, yeah, Enrique's been caught in this many a time, and with the butterfly guard, you're not getting the same level of push that you would with the foot on the hip. So it allows the guy to, all he needs just a slight forward push with his upper body to alleviate the pressure on the shoulder crunch. So a lot of times, so again, guys, I've experimented with it. Yeah, I still got this. I still got this. I still got it. He was lackadaisical about his approach. But do you understand, like, with the butterfly guard, and that's the whole idea behind split guard. Guys, you like teeing me up questions to push my Fanatics DVDs. Again, there's clamp guard. Clamp guard is basically you clamping your legs on the guy's torso and you're attacking the arm. The problem is you have nothing to prevent him from moving forward even slightly. You don't need, you need to, if you can stop the guy from moving forward. So in my estimation, the role of a guard is to do two things. One is to prevent him from moving backwards and forwards. Okay? So with clamp guard, it's, there's attacks, here, but move forward, Enrique. Yeah, things start to change. Okay? Now, if I just put my feet on the hips, he's not moving forward. He's not moving forward. He now has to, his only option is to abandon that arm and allow me to attack something. You know, it may still be a scramble, but now he's giving up. He does not. If I don't have my feet on the hips, a lot of times an attack on the upper body, especially involving arms, defense, all you need to do is just move forward slightly, which allows you to sweep. Because if the guy moves forward, usually he pushes with the head and shoulders first, makes his center of gravity a little higher, makes him easier to sweep. But I'd rather attack the arm and have that. So if Enrique starts to drive forward, yeah, I can sweep him. But I'd much rather do this. So go ahead, sweep yourself. Yeah. He sweeps himself because he has no other option. I'd rather get this sweep than a butterfly sweep. So again, I'm not saying it's wrong, but the way I do it is slightly different, and I believe it puts the top guy in much more dangerous position. And again, it's I can have either immediate submission, or if they literally sweep themselves, I have to put no effort into it. They literally sweep themselves, and I have an immediate submission as soon as we land on top.
And one last question before we close out. It's from Jack. He's asking, different Jack. He's asking, hi coach, could you please show how you escape deep half? Thank you.
Deep half? Guys, we might have covered it before. So again, how do you escape? So a lot of times when I'm caught in a deep half guard, guys, there's an index. If you can't find it, all you got to do is use this search box on YouTube and say Fox BJJ deep half guard, and we try to label things. So what are you doing? Stop adjusting your feet while I'm explaining stuff. So guys, when I get caught in a deep half guard, my number one objective is to get the underhook. Once I get the underhook, I'm gonna prevail. So now, once I get the underhook, what I'll do is, notice that I'm trying to be perpendicular to him. So I have base, so as he rocks me, I can sort of I can stop. Now, I'm gonna try to slide my right leg up higher and higher. Now, once my leg is under his head, this is the time, I don't fall backwards, I fall forward. So let's look at it one more time. I have hit this on good black belts who's, I remember one guy from abroad visited Renzo's, and it was no-gi, and he just, his deep half guard is his go-to. And I just did this 3 times in a row. So again,
a lot of peers said, by the instructional, there's also a triangle.
Oh yeah. There's also a triangle. That's also, guys, triangle. It is. Which one is it on? I believe it's on the triangle DVD. Yeah. I would consider triangle one of the ugly triangles in the family. So it catches me in deep half guard. So first, I kind of hunker down to make sure I have a good base. I don't want to get swept immediately before I set something up. Now, what I'm looking to do is swim, get that underhook. The problem becomes if the guy keeps it really tight. If he keeps it really tight, what I'm going to try to do is, I sense a triangle coming on. But if he doesn't, I want to get that underhook. Once I have the underhook, I will prevail. So now, once I have the underhook, what I'm doing is I'm sliding my leg up. Once my right leg is under his head, guys, don't fall backwards. That's the biggest mistake people make, fall backwards. He can control you. I just fall in the same direction that his head is. Now, as he's coming up, we hit him with a very deep triangle. So guys, you understand, deep half guard, deep triangle. That's good. So, and just like that, we're out of time, guys. I will see you next week. Wait, no. Yeah. Maybe not. We may have to do a compilation. Guys, we have, we have some ideas for compilation. I got to do a compilation twice in the next month and a half. So we have some good ones. One of the compilations that people have asked for is the armpit grip. So Mike, can we find something for armpit grip?
Yeah,
I may make an introduction before, but compilation might be the way to go. All right, guys? I will see you next time.
Or don't.
Or don't what?
Because might be a compilation that
Oh.
you won't see them.
Well, I don't technically see them right now either.
But
But I feel like they're present. Are we still on, Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Guys, I feel your presence. Even though it's in tiny screen and Mike's pushing the buttons, I feel you're here. And I really enjoy doing these classes with you.